I'm out in California and I'm doing a commercial for Black Rifle Coffee. Dustin Poirier is in the commercial. We're doing this together. Miesha Tate, Cory Sandhagen, just to name drop for you guys. We're teaming up and doing this thing. At any rate, I haven't seen Dustin face to face since he retired. I did some media with him on fight week in Louisiana. If you'll recall, his final fight was for the BMF title against Max. I haven't seen him since. And he just looked great. I mean, he's one of these things where you walk up, you start grabbing a guy, his shoulders and his arms, say, man, you look good. What are you still training? And I could just tell by looking at him, he doesn't want to be done. He has not made peace with the idea of being done. And that isn't unique. Like, there's not very many guys that do retire. They're like, great, it was a perfect time. And then Dustin is in an unusually unique position, which was he was a top 10 guy. And he's probably a top 5 guy. Well, top 10 guy that's something you work for your entire life. If you ever get to that position, if you can ever get on pay-per-views and main events and co-main events, regardless of outcome, if you can just get to that spot, you now have an achievement that you can be very proud of for the rest of your life. So Dustin was in this spot where on a bad day, he was still a top 10. On a normal day, he was still a top 5. On a great day, he might go out and win the world title. Like, he was still in that spot when he pulled the plug. That's very unique. Now, supposedly, that's the dream. Supposedly, that's what everybody would like to do, is to go out on their own terms when their legacy is still intact and there's still more bullets left in the chamber, but nobody ever does. I mean, aside from Mayweather in boxing, aside from George St. Pierre and Khabib in MMA, it's never really been done. So when Dustin walked away, I could just imagine that it was a little bit of a harder spot for him, because he was still in this spot where he could be getting a lot of great memories. He could be getting huge paychecks. He could be selling out arenas. He could still have a number of wins, all in really big fights. Or you can leave on your own terms, and you can't do both. You can't generally do both. He chose to leave on his own terms, but he looked so good. He looked so damn good. I never bought Michael Bisping's retirement. Now, Bisping ended up being one of the few guys that was sincere and really meant it. I didn't buy it because I would see him when the cameras aren't on. I would be around Michael Bisping, and he looked so good. Or we'd be headed somewhere. Hey, we got to be 20 minutes late. Why are we late? Bisping. He's went to the gym. Workout went a little bit long. This was happening routinely, and I remember thinking, he's not done. I remember thinking that about Mike. I remember telling him that. I said, hey, Michael, I don't think you're done. In fact, I thought I knew what Michael was getting ready for. I thought Michael Bisping was going to box Jake Paul. At any rate, Michael told me, he goes, well, you got this part right. I would like to do it, and I am in the gym and training. But I'm not going to do it, and I'm not training for Jake Paul. This is just what I know, and this is just what I do. And okay, fair enough. But I'm just sharing with you, looking at him and being around him, Michael Bisping was able to keep himself at a very high level for a guy that was retired. And now I just had the same experience with Poirier. We're going, you look great. And I said, you don't want to be done, do you? And he goes, of course not. Well, okay, but you don't want to be done versus are you coming back? And he said, no, I'm not going to come back. He said, but I like it all. I like these opportunities that the grapplers are getting. I like the idea of just going in and doing a boxing match. In fact, he brought up Nate Diaz specifically, where there was some kind of conversation going. Said he's still got a number of fights under contract with the UFC. And it was just a unique spot. It really was. Like, as I was standing there looking at Poirier, in my shoes, he's living the dream. In my shoes, like as an outsider, looking at Dustin, how great he looks, how sound he is mentally, the wonderful life that he has formed, all the great memories he's had. Like when I look at him, I go, okay, that's the guy that's living the dream. That's the guy that played this very risky and thankless game and won. But Dustin sees it a little different. He sees it as though I had more juice left. There was more. Maybe I should have squeezed a little bit harder. It's a very fascinating psychology. It's a very fascinating balance. And rather, guys, it's an imbalance. There's a real imbalance. I don't like that Dustin has more he wants to do. That's the kind of thing that can haunt you down the road. However, for guys that went down that road and look back, they all say the same thing, which is I would have stopped 2 to 3 fights earlier than I did. So I think that Dustin's in an ideal spot. But as a competitor, getting him to see that is probably going to be a lifelong challenge.